You know that feeling when you ask someone a question and they give you an answer that doesn't really answer the question? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on one of grammar's slickest moves, the passive voice. It's a tool for both super clear writing and, as we'll see, some pretty clever evasion. So picture this. You're in the kitchen, you're about to bake something amazing, but the baking soda is gone. You ask your daughter, Jenny, a totally simple question. And this is the answer you get. The baking soda was used for a science experiment. Now, listen to that again. Something's missing, right? It's an answer, sure, but it's also a perfect little sidestep. We know what happened to the baking soda, but we have no idea who did it. So how did she do it? How did Jenny manage to answer the question while totally avoiding any blame? Well, this isn't just about being clever with words. It's a full-on grammatical mystery, and the main clue is hiding in plain sight.
Yep, the secret is all in the grammar, in the way she built that sentence. Her choice of words literally makes the person responsible, the doer, vanish into thin air. It's like a magic trick. To figure out how she pulled it off, we need to look at the two voices a sentence can have.
Okay, first up, let's talk about the active voice. Just think of this as the normal, straightforward way we talk. It's direct, it's clear, and it's probably how you form most of your sentences. The definition is super simple. In the active voice, the subject of the sentence is the one actually doing the action. They're the star of the show. So if Jenny had been a little more upfront, she would have used the active voice. She would have said, Michael and Jenny used the baking soda. See how that works? Michael and Jenny are the subject, the ones doing the thing. The verb is used. And what did they use? The baking soda. That's the object. It's a straight line from the doer to the action to the thing being acted on. No confusion, and definitely no avoiding responsibility. But Jenny was way too smart for that. She didn't use the active voice. Oh no. She pulled out her secret weapon, the passive voice. Now with the passive voice, the whole structure just flips on its head. The subject of the sentence isn't the doer anymore. Instead, the subject is the one that's receiving the action. The spotlight completely moves. In Jenny's actual sentence, the baking soda is the subject. But the baking soda isn't doing anything, right? It's just sitting there, having something done to it. It was used. You see the formula here is different. You've got the subject, then a to-be verb like was, and then a past participle like used. And just like that, poof, the doer is gone. Okay, so what's the big deal? What's the real difference between these two, and why should you even care? Well, it matters a lot. Let's break down how to make this change with a really simple example. First, we start with a nice, clear, active sentence. Diva chews the bone. Diva's our subject, our doer. Step 2, to go passive, we take the object, the bone, and make it our new subject. Step 3, we change the verb from choose to is chewed. And then for the final step, voila, the bone is chewed. And look at that. Diva, our doer, has once again vanished from the sentence. But here's where the passive voice has another little trick up its sleeve. What if you want to shift the focus away from the doer, but you still need to mention who they are? Well, there's a way to do that. You can actually bring that doer right back into the sentence. You just use a little grammatical tool called a prepositional phrase, and it almost always starts with the word by. Let's look at our examples again. The bone is chewed can become the bone is chewed by Diva. And Jenny's sneaky sentence, the baking soda was used, could have been, the baking soda was used by Michael and me. Now notice something here. Even when the doer is back in the sentence, they're kind of tacked on at the end, almost like an afterthought. The main focus still stays on the bone or on the baking soda. So why are we digging into all this? Because understanding the difference between active and passive gives you so much more control. It lets you choose exactly where you want your reader's focus to be. It lets you choose your impact. Here's the bottom line. The active voice, it's direct, it's strong, it's crystal clear. It's awesome for when you need to assign responsibility. The passive voice, on the other hand, shifts the focus. It's really useful when the action itself is more important than whoever did it. That's why you see it all the time in scientific reports, like the chemicals were mixed. The focus is on the process, not the scientist. But as our friend Jenny demonstrated so well, it's also the absolute perfect tool for avoiding responsibility. And that brings us right back to where we started. We've totally cracked the case. Jenny used the passive voice not because it was more clear, but because it was way more convenient. It was a perfect little grammatical getaway. Isn't that right, Jenny?
So now you know the secret. The real question is, where are you going to spot it next? Because I promise you, now that you know what to look for, you'll see it everywhere. In the news, in that weird email from your boss, maybe even in a text from a friend. Now you know how to spot when the doer is being deliberately hidden, so keep your eyes peeled.